Ever since Nero famously fiddled while Rome burned, the pages of history have been strewn with stories of great cities that have been destroyed by fire. Fire is an age-old problem. Crown Trade Timonox offers a modern-day solution.
For at the height of yesterday's emergency, hundreds of cancer patients and staff had to be led to safety. 5 operating theatres and 2 wards have been badly affected by this fire, but patients have continued to receive treatment from Royal Marsden specialist teams, either at the neighbouring Royal Promotional.
Scenes of crime officers have been at the hotel for most of the day, but the cause of the fire is still not known. Mick Toll's house backs onto the hotel. He told me he couldn't believe how quickly it spread.
In spite of regulation, major building fires are still commonplace. In 2006, the previous fire regulations for existing buildings were replaced by a completely new set of regulations which apply across England and Wales to all buildings, except single-occupancy private dwellings. At the same time, a parallel set of regulations was introduced in Scotland. Both sets of regulations require that a responsible person is identified. This could be you. Do you have control over the building? Are you a maintenance manager or estates manager? Are you an employer? Or are you a building owner? If the answer to any of these is yes, then it is you. You must ensure that a fire risk assessment is carried out on the building as a whole by a competent person. The government has published a series of guides to help you, each specific to a particular market sector. Each guide identifies that painted surfaces on walls and ceilings are a potential source of fire spread in buildings. But just how real is this problem? This is a standard fire test rig. A painted panel is exposed to a radiant heat source, and a pilot light provides a source of ignition. The painted panel has a buildup of 10 paint layers, including emulsion paints, applied to a piece of plasterboard. It's typical of the paint on a wall after around 20 years' worth of decoration. Many people consider emulsion paints as being non-flammable, as they're water-based. However, this isn't true. All paints contain resins which may burn. As you can see here, the fire is able to spread along the surface quite quickly. If you are the responsible person, there are many instances where you are required by the regulations to reduce the risk. This means that you have to control the rate of spread of fire, especially along corridors and communal escape routes, which form part of the fire exit route. The ability to restrict flame spread in these areas means it's possible to give the building occupants the maximum possible time to get out. But how? Crown Trade Timonox offers you a cost-effective way of restricting flame spread and reducing the risk by painting over the existing paint with specially formulated flame-retardant coatings. Timonox buys you time to get people out. Here we see that flame spread test again. This time, the top panel shows the unprotected buildup of paint, while the lower panel has a similar layered paint buildup that has been overcoated with Crown Trade Timonox. The improvement is dramatic, with no flame spread evident on the protected sample. These tests were filmed at Bodycoat Warrington Fire, Fire Testing and Fire Safety Consulting Services. Dr. Janet Morell is Technical Manager at Bodycoat Warrington Fire.
Generally, the first coat of paint that you put onto a new or bare wall is reasonably inert, but over time, as you redecorate and you build up more and more paint layers, those paint layers become quite flammable. There are now currently available many commercial coatings that will enhance the performance of that wall and basically will improve the fire performance. Many of these coatings will take the worst classification, class 4, that you can get in the UK, and be able to improve that classification all the way up to the highest classification, class 0, which is the highest class you can get for any organic material.
Timonox is the market leader in flame retardant coatings. The application is essentially no different to that of conventional paint. However, the specification, site preparation and application of the paint must be properly controlled, which is why Crown recommend that Timonox is always applied by a recognized professional contractor. As a first stage, a Crown Paint Specification Manager will inspect the site, carrying out adhesion tests and taking away small samples of the existing paint for microscopic examination. From these samples, Crown determine the thickness and number of layers. Armed with this information, they will be able to recommend the most appropriate and cost-effective solution for each individual situation and prepare a site-specific painting specification for the contractor to follow. Normally, this will be a simple overcoating with Crown Timonox finishes, applied, of course, to a specified thickness. If the underlying paint is multi-layered and thicker, a more protective upgrade will be recommended. In extreme circumstances, where the condition of the underlying paint is poor, localized removal may be recommended. But the condition of the paint probably means that you would want to do that anyway. Crown Trade Timonox is available in a wide range of decorative finishes, including matte, silk, and acrylic eggshell. Where additional protection is required, there are 2 anti-graffiti glazes. In addition, all Timonox products are either waterborne or solvent-free, meaning no solvent odor and minimum disruption to the building's occupants. All finishes are available in a range of several hundred colors, so buying time to get people out will not compromise your decorative requirements. One building that has been positively protected from fire by Timonox is Lancaster Court, a 14-story block in Manchester, managed by Northwoods Housing. There have been 2 fires in quick succession.
The second fire started in a first floor flat. It actually started in the bathroom, and it seemed to ignite and engulf rather rapidly, which was quite concerning. The fire managed to get through the front door, and we sustained mainly cosmetic damage. Fortunately, there was no spread of flame. It was just smoke damage everywhere. The whole flat was ruined, but had it been for the Timonox coating, it could have been a lot worse. Even the timber surfaces did not combust under the intensity of the fire. Well, we just recently completed the application of Timonox, and I have to admit, if it wasn't for the Timonox, it could have been looking at a lot worse.
Crown Trade Timonox was certainly effective in buying time, preventing the spread of fire until the emergency services arrived. Timonox equals time equals life.